Cosmic Wanderer, this is Mission Control. Prepare yourself for departure. Our journey across the solar system begins now. All systems are online. Navigation is stable. Ahead of us lies a journey through 8 extraordinary worlds, from the burning silence of Mercury to the frozen frontier of Neptune. Together, we will embark on a voyage through wonder, silence, and the endless scale of the cosmos. Flight path is confirmed. Thrusters are engaged. You are cleared to depart. Cosmic Wanderer, this is Mission Control. You are now entering orbit around Mercury. Your mission is to collect data from the surface and witness a sunrise from the ground of Mercury. The small gray world in front of you is the innermost and smallest planet of our solar system, a lonely place with no moons to keep it company. Mercury has almost no atmosphere, just a whisper-thin exosphere, so there's nothing to soften the sun's radiation or hold the heat in. On the day side, the surface bakes in brutal temperatures. On the night side, it drops to deep freeze cold. A burnt, airless rock circling close to the sun in almost perfect silence. Right now, the sun fills your view far more than it ever could from Earth. Mercury orbits at only about 1/3 of Earth's distance from it, so the sun here looks more than twice as wide and floods the sky with brutally intense light. As you descend toward Mercury, remember this world bends time in strange ways. It races around the sun in just 88 Earth days, but it spins so slowly that one full day from sunrise to sunrise lasts about 176 Earth days. That means if you were standing on the surface, you'd have to wait the length of 2 Mercury years just to see the sun rise back to the same spot in the sky. As you drop lower, Mercury's surface starts to sharpen into view. A world covered in ancient scars. Huge impact craters overlap each other, and one of the largest, the Caloris Basin, is over 1,000 kilometers across, carved out by a colossal collision in the distant past. Long, curved cliffs stretch for hundreds of kilometers too, formed when the whole planet slowly shrank and its crust wrinkled like a dried apple. As you get closer, instruments confirm that beneath this battered crust lies an oversized iron core, so large it makes up most of the planet's volume, giving tiny Mercury a strong magnetic field and a density almost as high as Earth's, despite being barely bigger than our moon. You're now so close that Mercury fills your entire view. Even on the day side, the sky above this world would stay pitch black. With almost no atmosphere to scatter light, the sun would blaze like a white-hot disk in a dark void while the stars still shine all around it. You're skimming the edge of Mercury's exosphere now. A ghostly veil of atoms knocked loose from the surface by solar radiation and micrometeorite impacts. It's so thin it's almost pure vacuum, with just traces of elements like sodium and oxygen drifting above the rocks. But your instruments can still sense its faint, fragile presence as you prepare to dive toward the surface. Cosmic Wanderer, you've reached the surface of Mercury. Your landing is complete on this airless, sun-blasted world. There are no weather patterns here, no winds, no clouds, no storms rolling across the sky. With practically no atmosphere, Nothing stirs the landscape except falling meteoroids and the slow, relentless heating and cooling of the rocks under the brutal sun. Here on Mercury's silent surface, time hardly seems to move at all. There's no wind or rain here to erase the past. Many of the craters and scars you see have been frozen in place for billions of years, and even a single footprint left in this dust could last almost forever. On the dark side of Mercury, the sun's heat disappears completely. With no atmosphere to hold any warmth, temperatures here can plunge below minus 170 degrees Celsius, and the landscape sits in sharp, frozen darkness while the stars shine with unusual clarity above. On the day side of Mercury, you're standing under one of the harshest suns in the solar system. With no real atmosphere to soften its light, surface temperatures here can soar above 400 degrees Celsius, baking the rocks for months on end while the sun crawls painfully slowly across the black sky. As you look around, remember that this baked landscape hides some surprising secrets. Near Mercury's poles, there are craters whose floors never see the sun at all, locked in permanent shadow. Radar readings suggest those dark pockets may hold water ice, preserved for millions of years. Just a short journey away from places like this, where the ground is hot enough to melt metal. Prepare and take position for the sunrise on Mercury to collect our data. Hold position on the surface and switch your suit to time acceleration mode. You're about to watch this long, frozen night give way to one of the slowest, harshest sunrises in the solar system. On Mercury, a sunrise like this normally crawls across the sky over many Earth days. Time acceleration lets you watch weeks of motion unfold in less than a minute. Notice how the shadows stretch and slide across the craters in sharp, hard lines. With no real atmosphere to scatter the light, there's no soft glow, only blinding sun and deep black. As the sun climbs higher, the surface beneath you is already heating up fast. In a single long Mercury day, temperatures here can swing from deep freeze to hot enough to melt lead. Our instruments are recording how the rocks expand, crack, and shift under this brutal cycle. Every sunrise here slowly reshapes the surface, grain by grain, over billions of years. As the sun races across the sky in front of you, remember it's just one ordinary star among hundreds of billions in our galaxy. And yet from here on Mercury, it feels like the entire universe is pouring its light down onto this one small, silent world. Cosmic Wanderer, this is Mission Control. Telemetry is green, suit integrity nominal. You are now approaching Venus, the second planet from the Sun, orbiting at about 108 million kilometers from it, locked in a tight path that carries it around the Sun in just 225 Earth days. Venus is a world wrapped in thick, swirling clouds that hide its surface from ordinary eyes, reflecting so much sunlight that it becomes one of the brightest objects in our sky. Despite its soft golden glow, below those clouds lies one of the most extreme environments in the solar system, with crushing pressure and temperatures hot enough to melt lead. As you approach, remember that Venus moves in a very strange way. It spins so slowly and in the opposite direction of most planets. So a single day on Venus lasts longer than its year, and the sun would appear to rise in the west and set in the east if you were standing on its surface. As you close in, remember that those bright clouds aren't soft water vapor. They're made of tiny droplets of sulfuric acid, whipped around Venus by winds so fast they race around the entire planet in just about 4 Earth days, far quicker than the planet itself turns. Your suit is the only reason this approach is even possible. Without it, the heat, pressure, and acid clouds of Venus would destroy any human or unprotected craft in moments. Prepare to descend into the upper layers of its thick atmosphere and enter the first veil of clouds. At first, you're surrounded by a soft yellow-white haze, the light from the sun scattered in every direction. Below you, the tops of Venus's clouds stretch all the way to the horizon, forming an unbroken, glowing sea of mist beneath your feet. Now, begin your descent through the sulfuric clouds below, sinking deeper with every second as the light thickens and the pressure slowly climbs. You are now passing through a level in the clouds where conditions surprisingly resemble those on Earth. The temperature hovers around 30 degrees Celsius, and the pressure is close to what you'd feel at sea level back home. Right now, you are falling through sulfuric acid rain. But the heat below is so intense that every droplet evaporates long before it can ever reach the ground. Here beneath the clouds, the extreme greenhouse effect turns Venus into a giant space oven, trapping almost all of the heat that reaches the surface. Temperatures rise high enough to melt lead and keep the entire planet locked in a permanent, crushing inferno. What you see in front of you are vast mountain chains rising out of the haze, their rocky slopes shaped by ancient volcanic activity and slow, relentless crushing of the crust. Some of Venus's peaks reach higher than Mount Everest, towering above a landscape that will never feel wind or rain the way Earth does. You've arrived on the surface of Venus, one of the hottest places in the entire solar system. Despite the extreme heat and crushing pressure, it's surprisingly quiet and calm down here, with thick, heavy air and almost no wind to disturb the rocky landscape. Despite being closer to the sun than Earth, Venus's thick cloud cover makes the lighting here feel more like a dull, overcast day back home. A dim, yellowish glow, instead of the blinding brightness you'd expect this close to our star. The air around you is incredibly dense. The surface pressure here is more than 90 times higher than on Earth, like standing nearly a kilometer under the ocean, with the atmosphere itself pressing down on every part of your suit. The air itself is mostly carbon dioxide, laced with droplets of acid, and it's so hot and dense that ordinary spacecraft electronics and metals can only survive for a short time before they fail. Every mission that has landed here has lasted just hours before Venus finally overwhelms it. Prepare and take your position to collect the necessary data from the sunrise on Venus. On Venus, sunrise is nothing like the sharp, bright line you know from Earth. Instead of seeing the sun peek over a clear horizon, the thick cloud layers slowly brighten, turning from deep orange to a pale, glowing yellow as the light filters through hundreds of kilometers of atmosphere. What you're watching in under a couple of minutes would normally take months in real time. A single full day on Venus, from one sunrise to the next, lasts longer than its entire year around the sun, so the light creeps across the sky at an agonizingly slow pace. Through the clouds, the sun never becomes a sharp disk, just a brighter patch in the glowing sky. No stars, no blue, only a heavy golden haze pressing down on the horizon while the ground around you continues to bake in intense heat. As the light grows stronger, our instruments are tracking how the temperature and pressure change with every tiny shift in the sun's angle. Even a small rise in height here can mean a huge difference in conditions, making this one of the most extreme and unforgiving mornings in the entire solar system. Your suit can accelerate time even further, allowing you to compress this long Venusian day and witness the slow, muted sunset that follows. As your suit pushes time faster, the heavy golden sky slowly fades into deep shadow, and this long descent into darkness signals our time on Venus is over. Cosmic Wanderer, this is Mission Control. Welcome home. You are now approaching Earth, our small blue world of oceans, clouds, and life, drifting quietly through the dark of space. At around 150 million kilometers from the Sun, following a year-long path around our star. Seeing Earth fill your view like this, all that blue, green, and white swirling with storms and sunlight, you're looking at the only place we know where life has burst into forests, oceans, cities, and dreams. Everything you've ever known, every person you've ever met, every laugh, every story, every love, and every memory is happening right now on that one shining world. A living oasis in a universe that is, almost everywhere else, cold and silent. So far, this is the only planet we know where the universe has learned to breathe, think, and dream, where life has become aware of itself through us, fragile human beings looking back at our own world from above. Out here, you can finally see it for what it is, not just a planet, but a shared home, carrying every language, every story, and every future we create together. Our world is truly remarkable. It sits at just the right distance from the sun for water to stay liquid, wrapped in a protective layer of air, shielded by a magnetic field, and balanced by its moon. Out of all the lifeless rock and gas we've seen so far, this is the place where chemistry somehow crossed the line into cells, forests, animals, and consciousness. An outcome so unlikely it feels almost like a miracle. Yet here you are, watching it from above. Our planet is wrapped in an invisible shield of magnetism that turns deadly solar wind into dancing auroras, and covered by a thin skin of air that holds clouds, rain, forests, and cities. A delicate balance that has quietly protected and fed life here for billions of years. Below, an entire biosphere is unfolding at once. Millions of species sharing a thin shell of land, ocean, and air, from microbes in the soil and plankton in the sea to forests, animals, and human cities, all linked together in a complex web of ecosystems that cycles water, carbon, and energy around the planet, and keeps Earth alive as a single, self-sustaining system. Prepare for atmospheric entry. In a moment, the thin veil of air that keeps our world alive will blaze against your shield, as your fall turns into a trail of fire across the sky. You are now approaching the layer of clouds that sits around 10 kilometers above the ground. From up here it looks soft and calm, even though inside it storms, rain, and lightning are constantly being born. As you drop below the clouds, the vast Pacific Ocean opens up beneath you, an endless blue expanse stretching far beyond the horizon. This single ocean covers more of Earth's surface than all the continents combined, holding most of the planet's water and reaching down into trenches deeper than the tallest mountains on land. From the glittering sunlit waves at the top to the cold, black depths below, it's a layered world of its own, filled with life from drifting plankton to giant whales, all moving beneath you as you continue your descent. Sometimes we forget just how vast and beautiful the ocean really is. From down here, looking up at the rippling surface and the shifting light, you can feel that this blue world is just as endless and mysterious as the space you fell from. Down here, life moves in slow, flowing patterns, a sea turtle gliding past like it has all the time in the world. Schools of fish twist and turn together as if they share one mind, slipping through rocks and coral like living currents of silver and color. In the darker water, jellyfish drift like floating lanterns, their bodies glowing softly in the gloom, reminders that even the deep night of the ocean is alive with light. From the smallest fish to the great whale passing in the distance, every creature you see is part of a vast, hidden world beneath the waves. A second planet, right here on Earth, that most of us only ever touch at the surface. Cosmic Wanderer, this mission was a success. Prepare yourself. Other adventures are already waiting for you among the stars. Cosmic Wanderer, this is Mission Control. In front of you, you can see the planet Mars, one of Earth's closest planetary neighbors. All telemetry is green. Systems are stable. You are cleared for descent. As you approach the planet, both of Mars' moons come into view on your right. Deimos, Phobos. Two small moons, locked in orbit around the red planet. Billions of years ago, Mars may have looked much more like Earth than it does today. Ancient rivers once flowed across its surface. Lakes may have filled wide basins, and liquid water may once have existed under a thicker atmosphere. Some scientists believe that early Mars may even have had the basic conditions needed to support microbial life, not complex life, not forests or oceans as we know them, but the possibility that this planet was once more active, more dynamic, and far less hostile than it is today. Two of the planet's most famous features become visible. To your left, Valles Marineris, the largest canyon in the solar system, a gigantic scar on the surface of Mars, stretching for thousands of kilometers, nearly the width of the United States. To your right, Olympus Mons, the tallest mountain in the solar system, a massive volcano nearly 3 times taller than Mount Everest, and so wide it is almost the size of France. Over billions of years, Mars underwent a dramatic transformation. It lost much of its atmosphere. Temperatures fell. Liquid water could no longer remain stable on the surface. And the planet slowly became the cold, dry, and hostile world we know today. Yet even in its silence, Mars continues to fascinate scientists and explorers alike. Because every canyon, every plain, and every layer of rock may hold clues about how this world formed, how it changed, and whether it may once have supported life. You are falling faster now than you would on Earth. Mars has less gravity than Earth, but its atmosphere is extremely thin, so it does very little to slow your fall. It has only about 1% of the density of Earth's atmosphere. You pass through thin clouds high above the planet. Some are made of frozen carbon dioxide. Others, though more rare, are made of water ice. Dust storms are very common here. Some cover only small areas. Others grow so large that they can cover the entire planet. You have reached the surface of Mars. The ground below is ancient, silent, and untouched by human footsteps. A world of red dust, broken rock, and empty horizons. You move into Valles Marineris, the largest canyon in the solar system. It is far longer, far wider, and far deeper than the Grand Canyon on Earth. Its cliffs drop thousands of meters into the ground below. The scale is so enormous that it feels less like a canyon and more like a crack across an entire world. And if you know where to look, you may find signs that humanity has already been here. An old friend, now silent, Spirit rover. Spirit landed on Mars in 2004 and was originally expected to operate for just 90 days. Instead, it continued exploring the planet for more than 6 years. Long after its planned mission had ended, Spirit kept sending back discoveries that helped transform our understanding of Mars. Now it rests where it made its final discoveries, a lasting reminder of how far human curiosity can travel. And speaking of curiosity, there's another friend here that is still active today. Curiosity rover. Still exploring, still climbing, drilling, and analyzing the Martian surface. Still helping scientists understand the history of this planet, one discovery at a time. Standing here on the surface of Mars, it is impossible not to wonder what this planet might become in the distant future. For decades, scientists and dreamers have imagined the idea of terraforming Mars, slowly transforming it into a world more suitable for human life. A warmer planet, a thicker atmosphere. Perhaps one day, even liquid water once again on the surface. But for now, that vision remains far beyond our reach. Mars is still a harsh and unforgiving world, cold, dry, and exposed to radiation beneath a sky too thin to support life as we know it. It is not just a distant world of dust and stone, but a place that forces us to imagine the future. A world where one day, human footsteps may become as common as the tracks left behind by our robotic explorers. Mars is more than just another planet in the sky. It is a world that preserves the story of deep time, of volcanic power, vanished water, and a climate that changed on a planetary scale. More than any other world beyond Earth, Mars gives us a chance to look into the past and ask one of humanity's biggest questions. Could life have existed somewhere else in the solar system? And as you take one final look, Mars reveals itself not just as a destination, but as a world with a story still waiting to be fully understood. Cosmic Wanderer, this is Mission Control. Telemetry is green, suit integrity nominal. Right now, you are about 778 million kilometers, roughly 484 million miles from the Sun. You are in low orbit above Jupiter and cleared to begin the descent sequence. Ahead of you is the largest planet in our system. Remember, your suit is rated as virtually indestructible. Without it, this drop would be impossible. Here, you can see the soft band of the Milky Way arcing across your visor, our entire galaxy flattened into a glowing disk of dust and stars. But don't get too mesmerized by the view, Wanderer. We still need you focused on the mission. As you descend, you'll pass through Jupiter's faint, almost invisible rings. They're made of dust and small fragments, not like Saturn's bright ice rings. On your left, coming into view, is the biggest storm in the solar system, the Great Red Spot. That vortex has raged for centuries, large enough to swallow Earth whole. Reminder, without that special suit, you'd already be dead. The radiation around Jupiter is so intense, it would kill an unprotected human about 300,000 kilometers out, roughly the distance between Earth and the Moon. You're closing in on the cloud tops. Stand by. You're about to enter the upper atmosphere. Bright, white ammonia clouds. These are the high, cold cloud decks that you're now piercing through. Gravity is pulling you down much harder than on Earth, about 2.5 times stronger, so your fall speed is rapidly increasing. The scene around you should now look dimmer, like an overcast day on Earth with a brownish tint. Sunlight is struggling to penetrate this far. You're dropping into a second cloud layer composed of sulfur and ammonium hydrosulfide. These clouds give Jupiter its deeper brown and yellow tones. Going deeper still, sunlight can no longer reach you effectively. Your surroundings are fading toward complete darkness. From here on, any flashes of light you see will likely be lightning from powerful storms hidden in the clouds. You've now descended roughly 3,000 kilometers below the visible cloud tops. This marks the transition out of the upper atmosphere region. Your suit systems are compensating for the extreme pressure and lack of light. Night vision mode is now carrying most of the visual load as you continue down. You are entering the mantle region, where the pressure is so immense that hydrogen turns into a dense liquid form. It glows hot and pale, almost like a white, luminous ocean. Welcome to the largest sea in the solar system, a vast, deep layer of liquid metallic hydrogen surrounding Jupiter's core. This mantle makes up most of Jupiter's volume. Even at your current velocity, you would sink for months before reaching the core region. Near the core, temperatures are estimated to exceed the surface temperature of the Sun. This is a place no human body could ever survive without your suit's theoretical protection. After a very long descent, you finally approach the core, an extreme environment of crushing pressure and unimaginable heat, hidden forever beneath Jupiter's swirling clouds. Cosmic Wanderer, this is Mission Control. Telemetry is green, suit integrity nominal. You are now approaching Saturn, the sixth planet from the Sun, orbiting at an average distance of about 1.4 billion kilometers out in the cold outer reaches of our solar system. Saturn is a giant world made mostly of hydrogen and helium, the second largest planet in our solar system. Even though it's almost 10 times wider than Earth, its average density is so low that, in theory, it would float if you could drop it into a vast enough ocean. Wrapped around it are the famous rings, enormous bands of ice and rock stretching hundreds of thousands of kilometers across, yet in many places thinner than a city block. A delicate, shining disk hanging in the dark. As you approach the rings, you can see just how enormous they really are. A flat disk so wide you could line up several Earths side by side along it, yet so thin that in many places it's almost razor-like when viewed edge-on, made of countless pieces of ice and rock orbiting together in near-perfect patterns. From up here, the rings look solid, like a giant frozen disk, but they're really made of billions of separate pieces, from tiny icy grains to chunks the size of mountains, all kept in place by Saturn's gravity and the tug of its moons, carving out gaps and waves like ripples in a cosmic lake. From this height, the rings look smooth and solid, but they're anything but. Prepare to descend. You're about to slip inside the rings themselves. For all their size, the rings are surprisingly delicate. If you could collect all this material into a single body, it would barely be enough to make one medium-sized moon. Yet spread out like this, it creates one of the most spectacular structures in the entire solar system. As you move through the rings, you can see that they're made of countless pieces of ice and rock, from tiny grains to boulders, all silently orbiting Saturn at tremendous speeds. Up close, they drift past like slow snow, but every fragment is racing around the planet in a precise, invisible dance as you continue your descent toward Saturn. As Saturn fills your entire visor, you're looking at a world made almost entirely of swirling gas, bands of clouds racing around the planet on winds that can reach over 1,500 kilometers per hour. Its day is so short that this giant globe spins once in just about 10.5 hours, stretching its atmosphere into fast-moving stripes and storms, including the strange hexagon-shaped cyclone that endlessly churns around its north pole. Saturn has no solid surface waiting below these clouds, just layers of gas growing denser and hotter as you sink deeper, eventually blending into oceans of liquid hydrogen around a hidden core. Prepare to enter the atmosphere and begin your fall into this giant. You first plunge through the high, thin clouds of ammonia crystals, tumbling past pale, hazy layers as they rush by your visor. For now, your descent feels surprisingly familiar, dropping at a pace not so different from what you would experience on Earth. The temperature and pressure now rise rapidly around you, and Saturn's own internal heat begins to overpower the cold of space, turning your gentle fall into a deeper dive toward the hidden layers of this giant world. As you fall deeper, something surprising happens. The temperature and pressure climb to values similar to those on Earth, and in this narrow band of Saturn's atmosphere, water vapor can condense into water clouds, drifting far above the unknown depths below. As you fall into the planet's depths, sunlight no longer reaches this far. The sky above fades into darkness, but down here there is another source of light, are now falling into deep darkness. Activating your suit's low-light sensors and external lights so you can still see what's unfolding around you as you descend. At the deepest edge of the atmosphere, you cross into what is essentially Saturn's mantle, a vast, planet-wide ocean of liquid hydrogen, squeezed by pressures millions of times higher than at Earth's surface, with no solid ground anywhere beneath you. This hydrogen ocean around you is immense. It spans tens of thousands of kilometers in depth, so large that you could fall through it for hours at tremendous speed and still be nowhere near whatever lies at Saturn's distant core. After what would amount to months of falling, you would finally reach Saturn's solid core, a dense, rocky heart buried beneath a vast, crashing ocean of metallic hydrogen, squeezed so hard it behaves more like a glowing metal than a gas. Cosmic Wanderer, this mission was a success. Prepare yourself. Other adventures are already waiting for you among the stars. Cosmic Wanderer, this is Mission Control. Your descent suit is online. Today you're going all the way down into Uranus. Uranus is the 7th planet from the Sun, far beyond Saturn and Jupiter. With today's rockets, a trip from Earth out here would take many years, close to a decade of travel through deep space. The planet has at least 27 known moons orbiting it, like a small frozen system of its own. As you approach, you see the planet's faint rings around that pale blue world. When you pass through them, you won't really see the ring particles themselves. They're too small and too dark. From out here, Uranus doesn't just look strange. It is. The whole planet is tilted almost on its side, rolling around the sun instead of spinning upright. One day here is about 17 Earth hours, but 1 year is 84 Earth years. It's about 4 times wider than Earth and much more massive, a huge sideways spinning ice giant right in front of you. Out here, the sun is just a bright star. Uranus orbits about 19 times farther from the sun than Earth, so sunlight is almost 400 times weaker. A sunlit day on Uranus is still dimmer than sunset on Earth. You take one last look at space behind you, and then you drop in. First, you fall through the upper atmosphere. Clouds of hydrogen, helium, and frozen methane. Uranus is the coldest planet in the solar system, around minus 224 degrees Celsius, or minus 371 degrees Fahrenheit. Deeper down, there are multiple layers of clouds stacked on top of each other. You hear thunder, not above you, but somewhere far below. At about 25 times Earth's air pressure, your suit reports temperatures similar to those on Earth. Here, in this narrow layer, we find something surprising. Water clouds. The winds are brutal. Uranus can reach speeds of about 900 kilometers per hour. You're being pushed and pulled by a planet-wide jet stream. Eventually, the atmosphere turns into something more like a deep, dense ocean. You've reached the mantle, hot, heavy fluid made of water, methane, and ammonia. This strange ice ocean makes up most of the planet. That's why we call Uranus an ice giant. Far below, the pressure becomes extreme. Here, carbon is squeezed so hard it crystallizes into diamonds. After what would feel like weeks of falling, your journey ends at the rocky core of Uranus. Crushed under unimaginable pressure, this is the hidden center of the ice giant. Mission control to Cosmic Wanderer. You've reached the bottom of Uranus. Cosmic Wanderer, this is Mission Control. We are approaching Neptune, the outermost giant of our solar system, a world of ice, wind, and pressure beyond anything Earth has ever known. At this distance, the sun is no longer a star in the sky. Its light reaches us as a dim, cold twilight, barely brighter than moonlight on Earth. You are now drifting toward Neptune's dark ring system, thin, fragmented, almost invisible. Debris moves silently around you as gravity pulls you inward. Remember, your suit is indestructible. You will feel everything, but nothing can destroy you. Neptune grows rapidly beneath your feet. A deep blue sphere, alive with motion. You are now cleared for atmospheric entry. The first contact is with high-altitude methane ice clouds. They scatter the remaining sunlight, giving Neptune its iconic blue color. Your falling speed feels familiar. Gravity here is only about 14% stronger than Earth's. But the planet has other plans. Below you lies another cloud layer, ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. The wind is increasing. The wind is no longer pushing against you. It is pushing you sideways. Neptune's winds are the fastest ever recorded in the solar system. Clouds race past you at over 2,000 kilometers per hour, faster than the speed of sound. You are no longer falling straight down. You are being carried, swept, thrown. As you descend deeper, the sun disappears completely. There is no natural light left. Your suit switches to low-light vision. shadows reveal immense structures of cloud and storm beneath you. After a long descent, you reach the base of Neptune's atmosphere. What lies below is not a surface. You are now entering the mantle, a vast, superheated ocean of water, ammonia, and methane under crushing pressure. This churning sea makes up most of the planet's mass, more than 10 times the mass of Earth itself. Temperature readings climb rapidly, 2,000 degrees Celsius. Pressure here does something extraordinary. Carbon atoms are compressed so violently that they crystallize. Scientists believe that diamonds form and fall like rain in this alien ocean. Diamond rain, falling forever into the dark. After weeks, perhaps months of continuous descent, you finally reach the center, Neptune's core, solid, dense, roughly the size of Earth itself. You have reached the heart of an ice giant, a place no probe has ever survived. Cosmic Wanderer, this mission was a success. Prepare yourself. Other adventures are already waiting for you among the stars.